Welcome everybody to ESC Fan TV. It's Friday night and it is 11 o'clock Central European time, 10 o'clock UK time. And we have just watched a fantastic national final. That's right, Germany 12 points. Will they be saying Germany 12 points in Turin in May? We're going to find out. But before we get there, we're going to introduce our panel for this evening, people. That's right. First of all, we'd like to say a huge welcome and guten Abend to Thomas, all the way from Denmark. How are you doing?
Guten Abend, Stuart. Ich freue mich, hier zu sein. Oder, ja, in English, it's good to be here.
Thank you for clarifying, Thomas. Also from Denmark this evening, we welcome back our friend of the show, Nicholas. How you doing, my friend?
Hallo, wie geht's? That's about as much German as I can do. Hello.
Yeah, I'm on the same par as you there. I'm not even going to bother. And good evening to Joe. How are you, my lovely?
Oh, guten Abend, Stuart. Wie geht's dir? Ich gehe gut, danke.
Geht es gut, ja. Dankeschön. And we're going to say a very good evening to... What's that? It's not Phil. Oh, no. Phil's very poorly at the moment. So we decided instead to welcome Phil's mum, Brenda, and Michelle. How are you both?
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
But she doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, exactly. Good way to kind of push yourself in. And all the way from Germany this evening, we say a very good evening to Georgia. How are you?
Hallo, guten Abend. Ich freue mich auch hier zu sein. Or I am also excited to be here, and I'm very good. It was a great show, so I'm happy.
It was a great show. It really was. And we're going to get into that and all other stuff as well tonight. We're going to go about half an hour, 40 minutes this evening, people. A ton of you in the chat room already. 108 of you watching live this evening. No Tom tonight, so just me. So I'll be in the chat room with you as well as hosting tonight's show. The format is very simple for ESC Fan TV. If you've never watched this before, that's okay. There's a couple of things you need to do before we start tonight's show. You need to click the like button even. Or dislike it if you hate what we're about to say. Because, hey, this is all opinions, people. You may not like what we're about to say. And click the subscribe button. And most important, there's a little bell button. Just ting that little bell. Just get that little bell and ting, 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 ting for us. Because that means that when we go live in the future, people, we will tell you and you can come and join the show. That's it. That's all the homework done, all the housework done even for tonight. Germany, 2 times they've won Eurovision. 1982. With Ambition Freedom, certainly heard that tonight, and in 2010 with Lena and Satellite. However, it hasn't all been plain sailing. The last 10 years, Germany have finished in the outside of the top 20 on 6 occasions, last twice. Can Germany snatch a win in 2022? That's what we want to find out. So let's go straight over to Georgia. Georgia, I loved the show tonight, actually, I have to say. And I'm glad you said that. What were your thoughts on the overall production from NDR?
I actually was really impressed. I thought it was really well put together. Barbara is great. I'm not a huge fan of her usually, but tonight, for some reason, I just clicked with her. And I was like, oh, she's great. Like, let's send her. She just talk and we'll probably get more points. But that's a spoiler. No, I thought it was great. I thought all the acts were great, mostly. It worked in my opinion. It was, I think, also tasteful, done with the current situation, and it was good. I'm proud to be German for once.
Hey, that's excellent. Nicholas, I've got to bring you into this because from a production perspective, I thought this was excellent. When you see Barbara coming out of a disco ball at the start of the show, you know you're in for something quite spectacular. What did you make of the overall broadcast this evening?
Yeah, overall, very impressed. I do love that they actually put in the effort here, and I feel like it's the same with Spain and their Benidorm Fest. I mean, we have countries here. Germany hasn't done well in years, and it's easy to just like push this to the side and say, yeah, we'll do something, right? But there is, from what I understand, a new team at ARD who's doing this now, and it seems like they've really wanted to put in the effort to get some current artists with some current music in there, a great production, some fun stagings that could absolutely be great to see at Eurovision. overall, a very good production package. And I think Germans should be proud of them actually trying. Will it be a win this year? Maybe not, but this has definitely set the stage for what the German selection can be again, and can actually like bring in something that's current and really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really nice actually to see up and comers in a Eurovision national final. I mean, I think back to some of the stuff other countries have done. It's very rare to see so many kind of young people in one national final and actually delivering new kind of credible stuff. And there was a lot of what I would call commercial sounding hit music tonight on stage. Joe, I mean, we were talking offline, and you know, I think we both had the same opinion. I thought it was a really good show tonight and a great showcase of German music.
Yeah, it really was. I loved it every second. I mean, Barbara was an amazing host, wasn't she? I mean, let's face it, she is absolutely supreme. But just everything, like the Sticks, young up and coming artists, as we said offline, it is great that they are there. You know, this is what Eurovision should be about, in my personal opinion. You know, artists that become famous afterwards, after they've done Eurovision, and this is a stepping stone for, well, so many artists, so many very famous singers. The stepping stone has been Eurovision. And you know, from my point of view, I love a tangible artist, as in, like, you know, they go to the shows afterwards, they go to the pre-parties, they soak in the atmosphere, they mingle with the fans, they, you know, and they just spend loads of time with you and love every second, and they stay part of the Eurovision family forever. And I just don't think you get that necessarily with famous artists. So for me, Germany got it spot on this year, absolutely spot on.
Yeah, I agree with Joe. Right, let's move on to the actual songs, and let me go to Thomas first. And we're going to start with the songs which finished outside of the top three. There's only 6 songs, so let's say that outside of the top 3. There was a couple of shocks here. So bottom, and unfortunately by quite some distance, was Emily Roberts. Then we had Eros in 5th, and then we had Felicia Lu, which I think was one of the favourites going into tonight's competition, in 4th, which was a bit of a shock. Thomas, any of those 3 surprised you?
Felicia definitely surprised me. I thought she was, before the show, she was my favorite because I thought the song was very good and her vocal was very good, but her performance was not very good. Her vocal was off key. I thought she was very nervous. She didn't hit the notes. I didn't know. She disappointed me, actually. I had higher expectation for her performance tonight. She was the big disappointment for me tonight.
Thank you, Thomas. Georgia, coming back to you, and Phil's mum and Michelle. I don't know whether you've frozen on us, but it certainly looks that way. We'll come to you shortly. Oh, and they've gone. There you go. Just hey, there's never an ESC Fan TV show without a technical hitch now, is there? So we'll try and get them back shortly. You were a bit surprised by Felicia Lu finishing outside the top 3. What happened, in your opinion?
I have no idea. I mean, it just goes to show that what you see beforehand online often doesn't translate to the show. Because from my perspective, she was the favorite, and I don't know. Her vocals were off, but I think the performance as a whole still was very strong. I think someone said that the song itself and the lyrics are quite dark, so perhaps it was that people just wanted something more uplifting and not, hey, I'm battling with my own mental illnesses right now, because perhaps people just wanted something a bit more uplifting, which I can understand. But huge shock. I mean, she deserved that 3rd spot.
Thank you, Georgia. Phil's mum, Brenda, and Michelle, you're back on the show. We're just talking about the bottom 3.
Yes.
Were there any shocks for you there?
Yes, Felicia. I was surprised that she didn't get higher up. Being second, I thought 2nd or 3rd I'd put her down for.
Any others? Is that it? Did you? Well, I thought I had Emily as 6th anyway. I had Felicia as 4th, but I was I had, who did I have? 1, 2. Oh, Eros as well was like fifth. I wasn't surprised that he didn't get through. He was slightly creepy, to be fair. Big wind machine. I'll blow my hair and just go. Oh,
I put him for third.
I know you loved him. She loved a bit of Eros. The soap song was a bit. It was like yeah. I found the dress really off-putting because I thought, is it glued there? And all I could do was look at her boobs, thinking that's going to fall off any second now. And it was super, super, super distracting. And as for Felicia, I thought it was all right, but everything was a bit dark. Her clothes were dark. Everyone else's clothes were dark. The staging was dark. I think if they'd lightened her up a bit, done a bit more dancing, I think she would have actually, she'd have been up there with it. It's all in the staging in the end, and whether your knuckles are going to fall out.
Yeah, preferably not live on stage. But let's go back to the staging, and let's talk about Emily Roberts' staging. She said that she was quite distracted by it, and when you actually look at that, you can see why. Bubbles, we had Zorbs on stage. Nicholas, was that just a little bit too much? Was there too much going on, do you think, in this particular performance?
I mean, I do wonder if all of the dancers were in corona isolation, and that was why they had to be in those bubbles. But it was a bit strange. I unfortunately, well, not really unfortunately, but I took a toilet break during this song, and I feel like I came back and didn't really miss much. So that's fine. I think I like the song in the studio version. It was a bit dated. Sure, it was this very much like 2010 Taylor Swift era kind of song. Not bad, but maybe not for this kind of competition. So I think the staging was just too, not only distracting for her, she wasn't able to put on the best, but it was also just too distracting for the viewers. It was very bubblegum, very, very out there, right? So I'm not so surprised that it didn't do as well as it did. I am surprised with Felicia, like a lot of the others also have said, but I think with having so few songs in there is a smaller margin when it comes to the points and how people are gonna be on the scoreboard, right? And she did all right in the online radio voting, right? I think her performance just didn't stand out the same way that the people in top 3 did, which isn't necessarily to say that her performance was bad. I just think in the context and in the whole context of the world in general at the moment, there were just other songs that had a bigger impact on that stage than she had tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, I quite agree. Thank you, Nicholas. Joe, let's talk about Eros, Atomus. Every time they said that, I was thinking hippopotamus, but that's a different thing altogether. I just love that. I thought the staging was good. I must admit, I was sort of concerned by what he was getting up to at the beginning there. Bongo drums using a guitar is a new one on me. But hey, he's happy to be alive. What did you make of this one?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't a bad song and it wasn't a bad performance at all, was it? Really, I quite liked it. I think with him, bless him, he was. I think he didn't smile. Is it me, or did he not smile much when he came off the stage? And he didn't smile much when he was on it, apart from when he was shouting "alive" and then swearing and whatever. And I just think he sort of probably he was a bit of a, what is it, a sheep in the headlights or whatever at one point. But he was cute and everything on stage, wasn't he? And I'm sure he would have appealed to the younger viewers out there. But yeah, I thought he might have done a bit better though. I'm not going to lie.
I didn't hear the swearing. I feel like I've missed out now. But
yeah, I mean, I thought he was. I think at some point, didn't he say "fucking alive" or something?
Oh, did he? Oh,
just me, thinking that in my head.
I missed that completely.
I heard it as well. Oh,
it wasn't just me. It was just that once, wasn't it? It was shouting. You're like, yeah. Where was you, Stu? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where I was. Clearly, I was probably still distracted by Bubbles and Zorbles. Anyway, let's go back to Phil and Michelle. You're a big fan of this song. Tell us why.
It's still not Phil and Michelle. It's Phil's mum and Michelle.
It's Phil and Michelle. Definitely Phil and Michelle. It's Phil plus.
This is actually from Phil. We had him on a little tablet, and we were watching it all together as he was saying.
Is he in his bedroom? Is he? Is he hiding?
He is in his little bedroom, all sad and lonely, but
Isolating
but
with a bottle of whiskey.
because he's still got his taste, so I bought him a bottle of whiskey. So he's happy as Larry. He's all right up there. Don't feel sorry for him. He's happy. But he did say, he told me to make sure that I told you that Eros, either play your guitar properly and buy some bongos or just don't bother. He was quite irate about it, that you should not be playing a guitar like that. What's wrong with you?
I thought it was quite clever. I thought it was kind of like the equivalent of interpretive dance. You know, with a guitar, turn it round, boom, 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 turn it round. I support Ukraine. I thought it was fantastic use of props.
There's no interpretive dance allowed ever in the world because nobody ever likes that. And if you're going to play bongos on a normal guitar, just buy bongos or get a pan and a wooden.
And with that, they've gone.
That's one point.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Michelle. Thomas, let's just recap where we're at. We're just talking about the bottom 3 songs. Which were your favourites? And were you surprised at how this shook down? Because it was very different going into the televote, and all of a sudden it changed.
Actually, I have a soft spot for Eros as well, because let's face it, he's part Danish. He lives near the Danish border. I have to like him. Let's face it. That's my guilty pleasure this year. There has to be some neighbor solidarity there. Well, I think the bottom 3 was it was a bit shocked that Felicia was in the bottom 3, but nonetheless, I think the bottom 3 was deserved to be the bottom 3. I think the top 3 was the best tonight.
Thanks, Thomas. Can I just check? Are the Scandinavians spreading out a bit this year? We've had Norway all over Eurovision already. Now Denmark seem to be kind of planted their flag all over the national finals. What's going on? I've clearly missed the memo. Something's happened this year. Anyway,
we've just taken over the music scene this year.
It sounds like it, yeah, exactly. The Swedes have done it. Now the Norwegians are at it. Now you guys are in to play as well. You've got the note. You got the party invitation. So there we go. So there were your bottom 3. Let's talk about the 3 that made the top 3. That doesn't make any sense, does it? But they were basically the 3 that weren't in the bottom 3. Right, first one was Nico Suave and Team Liebe with Hallo, Welt. Georgia has a lot to say about this. Let's go to her first.
Oh, well, I'm shocked they're in the top 3. I thought I didn't like them at first, and I still don't like them. I didn't like the song. I didn't like the old version. I don't like the new version. I have problems with the new version. But overall, I can see why they changed some of the lyrics. And there were parts of it that I think should have absolutely been changed. And then there were parts about the 2 people they sang about that shouldn't have been changed because they weren't offensive. Obviously, they weren't as relevant as what they changed it to, but none of the other artists changed it to make it more relevant. So I thought that was incredibly unfair to all the others. And I don't know, I just didn't like them. I didn't like the song, the melody, the mix of them. I don't know, I just don't like them as people. I'm sorry. So overall, I'm just really glad they didn't win because apparently they were the favorites from the NDR. So we kind of got lucky with that. But I can see the appeal of the song, especially right now. But shouldn't have been in there in that version, in my opinion.
To be honest, I thought we've heard this before. When it started playing, I was getting flashbacks to Montenegro 2019 D-Mol. Did anyone else get that vibe with a bit of rap thrown in, bit of hip hop? Yeah, not really for me, I must admit. But I'm not surprised this did better in the televote, and I was slightly concerned going into the first round of voting that this might have been the German song this year. Nicholas, were you surprised that this suddenly edged up in the televote?
I wasn't really surprised because from the moment that it was announced that they were gonna change the lyrics, I thought, yeah, we know why they're doing this. They know they can't win with the original song, so why not give it a try? I don't think it's fair, and I don't think they should have allowed them to change the lyrics, especially because we had that whole like radio voting, which was 50% of the vote, where people had been voting throughout the whole week. So basically those people were voting for a different song with a different message. I didn't, like I said in the beginning of this show, I don't fully understand German so much. I'm part of the Danes growing up with the whole like, oh, German isn't cool. We don't want to learn German in school, so I never paid attention. Kind of wish I did now, but that's a different story. But so I don't know like how, I know the song was very out there from the beginning. The second version, Virtual Signaling, the musical, right? It's just as much out there. But I'm not surprised that it did well in the televoting, because it was just like, we're gonna fit this song, so it fits to the theme of what's going on right now and everything. But the thing is, the song would have done horribly for Germany if it had won. If it had gone on to win and go to Eurovision, it would have been possibly another 0 points for Germany, and it would have been really bad for the broadcast and for the people who have been putting on this national final. So I think it's very good that it didn't win, because I feel like if it had won, people would have looked at it and been like, you could have just as well chosen these internally because you wanted these to go, and now we're gonna get a bad result again. So I think they really dodged the bullet there.
Thanks, Nicholas. And I agree with you. I think what happened in what year was it, 2019 with Sisters, I think goes to prove that, you know, you've got to kind of play a straight bat. And there were other songs that year. I think the right result this year, that didn't quite go through. Looking for one more panelist. Joe, this was hard to kind of get behind for me, really. I didn't really like a lot of it. What were your thoughts?
Well, honestly, this was one of my favourites going in tonight. I'm going to be really honest, only because I'd listened to it on ESC radio and a lot of other the channels, and I really liked it and I kept playing it. But the problem was tonight they really disappointed. I don't like the new version, and it wasn't until we were on the chat and I was like, oh god, it is a new version. It to me just didn't flow. So, you know, when I was listening to some of the words that I understood, and I was thinking, yeah, it's definitely wasn't as good. I didn't think they sang it well. I know Conchita mentioned that she thought that they were note perfect, and I really didn't think they were. And also, I didn't like their performance. That, you know, I wanted to get their arms and tie it behind their backs at one point, because I think those arm movements were really annoying me. And so overall, I was disappointed, and I wasn't really. I wasn't backing it by the time I heard it at all. It had just fallen out of my top three, if I'm really honest. So yeah, I agree. It was hard to go behind at the end. It really was.
It was. So then we had the top two, and let's be honest, there was very little in it. We're going to start with the artists who were leading the race for almost the entire journey and were pipped at the very last hurdle. Maël and Jonas with I Swear to God. I absolutely loved this. I really did. By the way, doesn't he look like a young Gildo Horn? I couldn't really look at him straight after that. He does, he really does. Go and check it out. I thought this was phenomenal. Absolutely something out of the UK Britpop scene. I'm sure there's a ton of American kind of comedy films in the 2000 era where this song would have been absolutely attributed to. Loved their vocal, such chemistry on stage, such fun. Phil's mum and Michelle, what did you make of this?
Well, go on, you kick off then.
Didn't like it much. I didn't like all the leaping about.
The staging was too fussy for you, wasn't it?
I didn't like the background.
Yeah, there was too much going on.
And quite honestly, I didn't know what they were singing about.
Yeah, because we couldn't get subtitles on that one, could we? So, yeah, so she didn't know what they were on about. Do you know what? Before tonight's live performance, when I saw it, I really enjoyed this. Thought, oh, this is good. It's got a bit of comedy. It's all right. Then when you saw it staged, it was staged as if they went, do you know what? We want to put a drum kit in the back of a VW van. And that was where they sort of went wrong. They went, that was important to them. They needed to do that. And then of all the flashy things and movie things, and there was too much going on. It wasn't focused enough on them, and it wasn't funny enough. They've lost the humour that they had, and the staging was just a bit sort of dull. But I have them second anyway. But I think they were just trying to cram too much into the staging that they didn't really need. And plus, that jumper must stink by now because he's had it on. How long has he had that jumper on for?
They had it on in the promotional image. Yeah, it's the same outfits. So, yeah, that probably needs a wash.
Yeah.
But this was fun. It was quirky. It was cool. I could have seen a lot of Europe getting behind this. Georgia, have we missed out on a potentially really cool entry for Germany this year, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I was a bit disappointed by them tonight. Also, there was this, was it the father who was clapping at random parts? And I don't know, that just was so distracting to me. And their vocals were off. I couldn't hear one of them at all. But overall, the song itself is great. And I think if they had tweaked the performance for Eurovision and, worked on the vocals, this could have been a really good song. And I think it was a real shock because obviously they won all but one of the radio stations. So, and I think it's because they're actually the most famous out of the 6 acts. I think they've took part in like a German singing contest or something. I don't know. I'm not really up with that. So it made sense for them to win the radio vote. And also because the radio version was phenomenal. Like that was great. But they definitely kind of gave it away today because the performance it was too much. It was not great.
Yeah, well, the proof was in the pudding, and they won the radio vote, but hey, lost the tele vote. So very telling. I must admit, I did actually quite like the staging. I like the camper van in the background. I haven't seen a camper van in a Eurovision performance that I've liked so much since Spain did it in 2007 with Manuel doing it for his lover in the back of a camper van. Thomas, was this for you?
Yes and no. I think the staging was. I agree with Anita in the chat. I think that the staging was the downside of this performance. I think if they have won, they definitely should have leave the one father back in Germany because he was just annoying. I just feel like smacking him in the face at one time. I think he should just go backstage. And Stuart, the one you think looked like a young Gildo Horn, I actually think he looks like another German entertainment legend, not in the Eurovision stage, but in the general entertainment stage, Otto Walkes. I couldn't get him out of my head. Yes, of course, George. I think it was the spitting image of a young Otto Walkes. Yes, it was okay. Not my favorites from the start, but I think they did a good job.
Thank you. I by the way, I wasn't being deliberately rude when I say he looks like Gildo Horn, because Gildo Horn is actually one of my favourite Eurovision artists of all time. I love him to death. Joe, I kind of feel a bit disappointed really, because I was willing these guys to win, and they were my favourites to win. I really like Malik, and we'll get on to that in a short while, but I was a bit disappointed at the end because they were doing so well. They won every radio vote, didn't? I know they bar one, and I think you're a big fan of this as well.
I am. I loved it. It's yeah, and do you know what? I love Gildo Horn as well, and that's probably he needed to dye his hair a bit, and he looked just like him, wouldn't he?
And balding as well, just a little bit of balding.
On the top bit. Yeah, gosh, yeah, and everyone knows that I saw Gildo Horn in '98. Yeah, I must admit with this one, I love the song, and yes, I did. I absolutely love them. I must admit, I must have missed the fact that they had a vocal issue. I think it's because I think at the time I was just listening and more than watching, but I did love the camper van. Yeah, I do remember Maël doing it, and it was quite funny, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would have been really good if this had gone through, and I was cheering when they got all the points. But I understand the fact that it's probably a lot more radio friendly, this song, than it was on the stage, and I think that was the problem, wasn't it? But it would have been nice to have given them a chance that they could have improved what they needed to improve on and go out there. And I think it would have done okay. You know, if I'm honest, Germany could have sent that and got like a top 15 or something with it.
I think they potentially could, yeah. Let's turn our attention now to the song that is going to represent Germany at Eurovision. And I'm coming to you first, Nicholas. Rockstars by Malik Harris. German-American pop singer. He was note perfect. He was rapping. This felt very commercial. It felt very Eminem. There was a ton of different styles in this 1 3-minute performance. What did you think of this? And was it the rightful winner tonight for Germany?
Oh, I absolutely love this song. 100% my favorite going into it. Never thought it was going to win because everyone was talking about Felicia, and to be honest, I didn't pay too much attention to if people were talking about any other songs. I just knew that was like the front run and everything. But I love this. This is right up my alley. It's the kind of music that I loved as a teenager, and I still love this, like, you know, pop rap, mixing these rap elements in with pop. I love the whole theme of it. I can sadly very much relate to the song and the theme of, like, you know, going back to the good old days, remembering those times, all that. I think his performance were great. There were a lot of instruments, and I feel like they were a little bit unnecessary. Like, to have that guitar around his neck for the whole performance, to like play it for like 10 seconds at the end, a little bit unnecessary in my opinion. But I think he absolutely sold it. He looked into the camera. He was authentic. He sounded great. This was no doubt the right winner. And I think, for now at least, this is my favorite song of the Eurovision season this year so far, of the songs selected. I love this. I have no idea how it's going to do in Eurovision, because I've often liked German songs that have done horribly. So I'm not gonna say if I think it'll do well or not, but I really love it. This is absolutely one of my favorites, and I'm gonna be jamming along to the song and the performance for the next couple of days for sure.
Thanks, Nicholas. Right, let's go to Thomas next. So Germany, over the last 10 years, as we said earlier, have had indifferent results at Eurovision. In fact, they average about 17th to 18th place across the 10 years. Based on what you've heard so far, where does this sit for you as an entry? Do you see it being an entry that could do well at Eurovision, or will probably do badly?
I think it will be around the middle part of the entries this year. I don't think it's going to win, but I definitely don't think it's going to be last. I think it will get a lot of votes because he has great energy on the stage. He can sing the song well. He's likable. I think it will do quite well. I think somewhere between 13 and 18. That would be a good spot for Germany this year. I don't think it'd be another 0 point for Germany.
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, let's go to Georgia now, because we've had a quick natter offline, and I get the impression that you're not confident that Germany are going to have a decent year this year. How do you think Germany are going to do, and what would be a good result, do you think, for Germany this year?
Well, I think it'll depend a lot whether they change his staging, because I think that definitely needs work. I agree, there were way too many instruments, and they need something very memorable, especially to really raise up that rap part, because I think that was really good, and it's really hard to do that well live. So I hope he'll be just as good in Turin. I also think running order will be important. I don't know. I mean, I'm always very pessimistic, and I already see us at the bottom next to Great Britain and probably Spain or some. Well, no, not Spain.
Hang on a minute. We haven't released our song yet, and we're already already down the bloody bottom. What's going on? We're fifth in the voting, not in the voting, in the betting.
It's tradition, Stuart. It's tradition. We got to keep up with the traditions.
The UK is fifth in the voting at the moment. Betting at the moment. That's the word I'm looking for. Go and place your bets on the UK for a win this year. Cough.
Yeah, I just don't see either nation ever doing good, but maybe that's like to preserve myself from feeling too sad. No, I hope we're not ending up at the bottom, because I think the song is nice. Like I said, the rap is really, really good. So, I mean, anywhere above the bottom and like 1 point would be good, but maybe we can have like a 1 in front, like 19.
You're really starting from a very high base there, Georgia. Just, 1 off the bottom would be good. It's actually, it's quite a commercially sounding record. And if they can get the staging right, I agree with you. I think the staging needs work. There wasn't a lot going on stage tonight. He sang it really well. He's a good looking lad. I think there's stuff to work with there. I think Germany needs to get it right staging wise on stage. Joe, what do you think Germany need to do today for Eurovision to move off the bottom? Because let's face it, 25th is a position that they've regularly achieved at Eurovision, certainly in the last few years. What do they have to do you think?
Yeah, I mean, what was it? It was only Michael Schulte, wasn't it, that sort of broke that chain for a while, wasn't it? Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I love this song, and I think he is very, very commercially viable. I think he's. I never liked Eminem. I like him, so there must be something. I think with him, the staging does need to. They need to do something. They need to get their heads together and say, okay, there's this really amazing guy who can sing, who's got a great commercially viable song. He smiles a lot. Let's face it, he didn't stop smiling apart from during the Jamala's Ukraine piece. He was smiling all the way through. He's got family backing, because look at his dad, tears down his eyes, and so all they really need is to get that staging right and market the hell out of him, because I think he'll do it. They just need to get him. They need to put him in all the pre-parties and everything else and say, there you go, do your magic, and he'll do it. And so he'll mix with everyone, and then make sure that they've got some decent staging there. I've no idea what they'll do. I think probably let him sing and rap and and play his instrument if he needs to, or pretend to play it, or whatever they do these days. But they do need something else as well.
Yeah, but the thing is with the song, it's definitely going to stand out. I'm not sure we're going to get much like it or anything particularly similar to it at Eurovision. So, Thomas, do you see that being an advantage for Germany this year? They're going to send a song where it's going to stand out on the night. People will remember it because it will be different. Could that result in votes this year, do you think?
It could be, or it could crash and burn. I think it may go either way. I think the voting system, the voting for the public can be very tricky to see in advance. If they nail the performance, they could do very well. Not a top 10, not a bottom, but in the middle. I think that would be a good place for Germany this year.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Oh, and Phil, who's hiding upstairs in Brenda and Michelle's house, he says Jendrik stood out last year. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And Michelle definitely remembers about Jendrik, don't you, my love?
Phil's an absolute idiot. You can tell that he's delirious with fever because he's written that.
So Brenda, Michelle, what are your thoughts on Germany's entry this year, and can you see it doing well at Eurovision?
I would put it like most of the folk have said, in the middle, no higher really than the middle.
Oh, well, do you know what? It winds me up. The staging winds me up, where he obviously wasn't playing the piano and he obviously wasn't playing the guitar. And it's like, in that case, just don't bother. Sort some staging out. We've all seen pictures of your youth and all this and babies and everything and that. Do something slightly different. And then he started off with the Eminem stand bit, and we were going, oh my goodness, oh look at this, nah. You need to sort your staging out to be a bit more modern if your song is in the 90s. and I think this is just going to be. I think the 90s is actually quite cool at the minute. If you look at the Super Bowl and what happened there, everyone's going, "Oh my goodness, this is the best thing ever," because we're old and we remember it, and so we like it. So I think this is going to be 12. Is my
12.
prediction.
That precise, 12.
Yeah. Write it down, Stu. Put it in an envelope.
It's there. It's locked in now. You're live. We're live, Michelle. We're just going to capture that and keep that for eternity.
Well.
Let's see. All right. So I'm going to ask my panel, with the power of the thumbs, whether they think it's a hit, a miss, or a maybe. You ready, gang? 3, 2, 1. So everyone bar our actual German panelist says it's going to do all right. Oh, and Brenda. Brenda's kind of on the fence a bit there. There you go. Right, that's Germany. So we have our German entry for 2022. It's exciting. It's still no UK entry yet, but maybe we'll get one very, very soon. I'd like to say a huge thank you to the panel, but before I do that, just a reminder that this Sunday at 9 p.m. Central European Time, we are back. Well, I'm not back. I have the night off. But Tom will be back, and he will be presenting to you Melodifestivalen's semi-final. And then next week, we've got all sorts of content just for you. Join us on Thursday night when we will present the final songs for Festivale. No, it's not. It's Festival de Canção in Portugal. And on Friday, we'll be presenting the songs for Songvakeppnin in Iceland before returning to Melodifestivalen. So lots coming up. Make sure you stay tuned to ESC Fan TV. I'd like to thank everyone in the chat room this evening. And I would like to say a huge thank you to my panel. Big thank you to Joe.
Thank you. Danke sehr. There you go, Stu. Bit more German.
Thank you very much, Joe. At least we're trying, eh? At least we're trying. Big thanks to Thomas.
Vielen Dank, Stuart, und vielen Dank, Deutschland, und viel Glück. Thank you for having me.
Huge thank you to Brenda and Michelle.
Well, and thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Big thanks to Nicholas.
Vielen Dank. Tschüss.
And lastly, but definitely not least, thank you to Georgia, and best of luck at Eurovision.
Thank you. And I promise I'll be more optimistic in the next show, and I'll be less critical.
I think to be honest, you're allowed to about your own entry. I think that's the rules. I think it's okay to do that. Eh? Maybe you'll be surprised. We all think you will be. Stay tuned to ESC Fan TV. We're back on Sunday. Until then, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.